Hello. So for today's video, I want to look at the next design for an animatronic robot. Now, we have plans and videos that show how to make the baby bot, or BB as I like to call her, and she's what I would call an intermediate robot project, because she has 4 different servos. Now, there is a beginner robot project which has 2 servos that you can get from codejoy.org, and I'll put a link down below. And if you haven't done anything yet, you should definitely try perhaps the beginner. They have a video on animatronics which you should definitely watch, and that will get you started. The next robot that I built was a prototype of the BB, and then I built this BB, and I built a second BB, and I have videos showing how to build that. But one of the things I noticed while I was working with BB and trying to get her to do different things is that she could express some emotion, like that one right there. When she says no, it's not only no, but it's no and don't ask me again. You've seen that look from probably, one of your parents or guardians. And other things that I was able to get her to do was like a sneeze. And I was thinking to myself, what if I concentrated on this idea of making a robot that can express emotions? And I came up with this prototype. This prototype is called Pedro. And Pedro stands for Programmable Emotion Display Robot. And the idea behind Pedro is to be able to show as many emotions as possible in a robot that has a 3-inch cubic head. So I'm starting out with that sort of constraint, 3 inches cubic head. Same as BB and same as the LB that you can build with the help of codejoy.org, as I said before. So Pedro can do things like he can say yes. Now you'll notice that he's very happy about saying yes. And very angry about saying no. And the reason for that is that Pedro here has 6 servos. And 5 of them are inside this tiny head, 3-inch cube of a head. So whereas LB has rotation and elevation, BB has rotation, elevation, eyes back and forth, and eyelids up and down. And then Pedro, which is the more advanced robot, has 2 eyelids, which are controlled separately, so that we can do emotions like happy, and the brows work separately, as well as rotation and elevation. So there's 6 servos. 5 of them are in this head alone. Now, what I tried to do is come up with, put Pedro into demo mode. So this is happy. That's disappointed, sad. This is nervous. That's happy, yes. That's nervous again. That's sad. And that's happy, yes. And that's angry, no. No, and don't even think about it. But yes, I'm very happy. Now you'll notice that what I've done here, one of the things that I did with the design of Pedro was to shape the eyelids a little bit differently, well, a lot differently than you see in BB. Um, I, I couldn't figure out how to make a robot. Oh, Gesundheit. I couldn't figure out. No, that's not a good thing. All right, whatever. Um, oh, okay. Um, I couldn't figure out how to do happy. Oh, bless you. And what I ended up. Oh, yeah, he's sick today, I guess. And what I ended up finding as I looked at comic books, what I found was that happy is often represented by these crescent-shaped eyes. So I decided I needed to do two eyelids, top and bottom, and to shape them so that I could specifically do a happy face. And that was kind of a compromise because the angry isn't quite as good as the BB angry, because the eyelids are just different. They're a different shape. But that's a compromise I made. But then I added the eyebrows, which give you yet another cue as to what the robot is feeling. So what I'm doing right now is since Pedro here, this Pedro, is a proof of concept. And I'm making some changes. Some of the changes are to have the eyebrows be pivot from the outside edge of the eyes and to move them closer to the eyes. And so what I'm doing is I'm designing using drafting tools, as you can see. Back in the olden days when we rode our horses to school, you would do drafting. Drafting was how you designed something. It was a serious way to do design. And that's what I learned, so that's what I do. So what I'm doing is I'm laying out each layer of cardboard. So the first layer is, of course, the face layer. Cat hair, because there was a cat here earlier today. And then from there, I'm laying out what I want the different moving parts to look like and how I'm going to keep them in place with different pieces of cardboard. And you can see here, one of the reasons why this is more advanced is you can see the detail on this shape. There's a 2 millimeter sort of bump right there. And the reason for that is so that I can move the eyelids into a better spot. Or not the eyelids, the eyebrows into a better spot. So little details like that become significant in Pedro's design. Okay, so as I go, I lay out each layer of cardboard. Let's see if I can back this up. Each layer of cardboard gets laid out, all of the pieces, to make sure they fit correctly and to find out where I need to put supports for the next layer. And one of the things that's important to do is to make sure that when the pieces move, they don't fall out of the tracks. So here is, for example, a BB bot. And as you can see, BB, when you move the parts, cannot come loose from the track. It won't come out of the track. And I've got little angled pieces here so that it actually falls back into the right spot each time it goes up. It centers itself. On the side to side, for example, the walls will keep it from going too far, so it will never fall out of the track. If it weren't for the wall on that side, it could fall out of the track and get stuck. So we don't want that to happen. And this BB is set up so that it pretty much can't come out of the track at all. But with this many servos I have and so many moving parts, what we need to do is design it so that in each position we know that there will be no out of track movement. So if you take a piece like this, it needs to go down only so far that it won't fall out of the track. If it comes out of the track, it can move and then get stuck because it can't go any farther. So it can never, ever leave the track. And that's part of how we design a robot like Pedro. Okay, so I wanted to show you what I'm working on and how I'm designing my next robot so that you get an idea of if you want to design your own robot. You're probably not the kind of person who's going to do drafting, but there's a lot of online tools that you can use to basically use a computer, so computer generated type blueprints. I think they call this CAD, computer aided design. There's a lot of CAD tools out there. I use paper and pencil. You can use a computer, but I just wanted to show you how this gets done. And part of the process I'm in creating yet another robot project for you to build. Okay, and that's all. Thank you for showing up at the end, Sophie, and I will see you in the next video.